What's up, guys? I'm just up here at the garden having lunch with my cat. She's having some greens. I'm gonna have this big bowl of grapes here, and then I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of a garden tour. This is one of the gardens we have. I'll also show you guys a few other gardens and a permaculture garden we have as well. So yeah, I'll show you guys. Just gonna finish up this bowl of grapes and I'll show you in a bit. Alright, so where do I start here? I guess I'll just start right here. We got some mallow growing here. If you guys know mallow, it's a herb. It's the root actually used to be used to make marshmallow, and the leaves are really soothing on your gastrointestinal tract, like ginger and slippery elm. It's a good herb to use if you got like heartburn and stuff like that. Beside the mallow, we got some basil growing here, and looks like some's going to seed as well. Then we got some cilantro that's going to seed, and here we got some nasturtium. We got the nasturtium growing right beside our giant trellis of cucumbers, which is really beneficial for the cucumbers in terms of companion planting. I guess the nasturtium flowers attract beneficial insects and that kind of stuff. So here we got our cucumber trellis. Some of them aren't doing so well. The ones on the ground are kind of turning yellow, but if you go back here, there are a few hanging. Let's see. We got this little guy right here. That guy. Got another one up there. Some more down here. And so down here below the cucumbers, we got some zucchinis growing. Here's one right in here. And then we got some grapevines that we're starting. These guys obviously haven't fruited yet. We actually just planted them this year. And beside the grape, we got some hyssop. It's tastes a lot like licorice. You can like make tea out of it, and you can just eat it like that too if you want. It's got some nice flowers as well. Then we got another grapevine starting here. I think this is more mallow, or no, I believe it's hyssop actually. And then over here we got our tomato patch. So these are Tess's landrace currant tomatoes. These ones are green. They're not ripe yet, but I got some red ones down on the other, and I'll show you. Over here, I'm not exactly sure what kind of tomatoes these are, but they're pretty big, and it looks like we got one that fell on the ground, so I will bring that guy in. We got this massive one growing here, doing pretty well. And we got these guys. I think these are orange woodle tomatoes. It's an heirloom variety. Then over here we got some really nice purple tomatoes. They're called indigo rose. Once they ripen up, they turn a bit red on the one side. I don't know if I can find any that are fully ripe. They all have a bit of green on them from what I can see here. Then these are sweetie tomatoes, or like a cherry tomato. Here we got some red zebras growing. I got some down at the other end that look a bit better than this. Here's a green red zebra. I believe this is another orange woodle tomato. And oh, here we got some indigo rose that look like they're ripening up pretty well. So if you take a look, these guys like turning red. That's what they're supposed to look like when they're ripe. I've had a few hot days there, so it's really good for the tomatoes. Good end to the season. Got some more green ones down here going. As well as over here. And then here are some ripe Tess's landrace currant tomatoes. A lot of these fall on the ground, and usually come up and pick all the ones that fall on the ground every day, and I also pick some of the redder ones so that the other ones will ripen up more quickly. Here we got some more red zebras. These guys are doing really well. And that looks like it's it for the tomatoes. So right across from our cucumber trellis here, we got a patch of beets. Now unfortunately the mice got into them this year and ate all the roots, but we still got the greens anyway, so we can eat those. Apparently you're supposed to put garter snakes in your garden so that they keep the mice out. Down here we got another little patch of basil. We got patches of herbs all over the place. Then we got some lettuce that's bolted here. It's pretty much done for the season. A few heads of lettuce that have bolted. And here we got some purple chard down here, if you guys have ever seen this stuff. As well as some rainbow chard, basically all kinds of varieties of chard. Got the stuff with the yellow stems here. And we got the stuff with the the red stems and the green leaves. We got more chard here, and we got some lime basil here. If you guys have ever had lime basil, it tastes like lemon limey. It's very good stuff. We got a good patch of it going. Looks like some's going to seed as well, so we're going to collect those in a bit. We got another patch of regular basil over here. We also got some broccoli that unfortunately the moths got to, or some kind of worm. I forget exactly what pest it is, but they got to it. Then we got some cilantro that's going to seed here. I'll probably harvest these today actually because they look pretty dry. We got more purple chard here. And here's the other side of the beets. We got some parsley growing down here. And some more lime basil. Another nice patch of lime basil. We also got flowers all around here. So here we got a row of carrots. These guys still need some time before they fully develop. But carrots from the garden are always delicious. We got more nasturtium. We got some peppers going, although they haven't really grown too big this year, unfortunately. There's a few. This one's kind of big. This guy's not doing too bad. And then over here we got our kale patch. We got some Russian kale here. I'm not sure exactly what kind of kale this is, but I think it's like one of your typical kales there that you get in the store. Then we got some purple kale. Getting into the patch of purple kale. You can see the leaves are a lot darker. Some of them are like really purple. The stems are purple, of course. We got a potato plant popping up in here. And a bunch more kale. Then we got, I believe this is celery. That's right on. Our celery's not doing too bad. It didn't have a very good start to the season, but you know, it's coming up. And up here we got a bunch of beans growing. So we got some green ones. And I think we got some peas somewhere, although I don't know if they're right here. We got some purple beans too. We like the purple veggies for the anthocyanins. A nice big purple bean there. And then I believe this is some ginger growing right here. Got some ginger going. I'm not exactly sure what this is. I think it might be parsnip. But we do have quite a bit of it going. You can see all the way down here. And I'll just show you guys what this end of the garden looks like. So we got a crab apple tree up there with like small crab apples. Over here there's a grapevine that actually fruits quite a bit. It's unfortunately pretty much done, although you can see the remnants of the grapes we had here. We had to put bags around them so that the birds didn't eat them all. Oh look, here's one. Give this guy a try. It's a good grape, good seeded grape. Yeah, here's our grapevine. More flowers that the bees love. Up here we got another crab apple tree with bigger apples, but still don't enjoy them very much. They're pretty sour. And that's about it for this garden. So I'm gonna go to the next garden. I'll actually go down to our permaculture garden where things just grow. We don't actually have to plant them. They basically seed every year and we don't have to do anything. It's pretty awesome. So we'll be there in a sec. So before we head down to the permaculture garden, I'll just show you guys our currant bush here. It's all done for the season, but this thing was loaded with currants in about, I think, like May or June. Then over here we got our potato patch that my dad picked clean. I don't eat potatoes, but he loves them, so and that's been picked clean. And he's got quite the variety. He's got purple ones, red ones, yellow, all kinds of different shapes too. Over here we got a lavender patch as well. And here's our old onion patch. Unfortunately, they're long gone, and they've been gone for a while. And here we actually got, I'll show you some wild plants. This is some goldenrod. You can make a nice tea out of this. I don't know, I find the taste is really good. It's also a diuretic, so if you got kidney problems and stuff, it can help you out. There's some other wild plants growing around here. This is a yarrow down here. Yarrow is actually, it repels mosquitoes. You can eat it, it's edible. And I mean, it doesn't taste the greatest, but yeah, some good stuff to have around your garden if you don't want too many bugs biting you. Got some nice flowers here too. And then over here, we'll just take a quick look. We got a little patch of thyme, but it's pretty much done. It's right in here. So this stuff right here is some thyme. There's stuff that looks like thyme in here that isn't thyme, like this guy. That's not thyme, but this is thyme. So I'm gonna take a trip down here and we're gonna check out the permaculture garden. So our other garden is just up there, and right across from it we got our old garden, which is our permaculture garden. So we don't plant anything here, it just seeds every year and grows right back up. We got quite a few things going here. So here we got some peppermint. There's peppermint growing all in here. So some more peppermint. We got some spearmint here. The deer like to bite off the top sometimes. Give it a little taste test. More peppermint. And we also got some lemon balm growing here. Lemon balm's really good in tea. You can also use it for your hair if you got like an oily hair. It's supposed to help with that. We got some oregano growing here, but really we got a massive patch of oregano right here. This is all oregano, all permaculture, just comes up everywhere. So on our way to the next garden, we got a bunch of wild strawberries growing down here. In May and June, these guys fruit. There's a lot of little wild strawberries growing in here. We also got a raspberry patch in here, and over there there's a lot of raspberry plants. They're done as well. They usually fruit in about August. And then we also got a crabapple tree there as well. So just heading over to our other garden, we got another apple tree right there, which the raccoons got to, but you know, I picked a ton of wild apples, so I'm not too disappointed. And here's our other garden. So I got some heirloom zucchinis growing in here. Some of them are pretty big. We put them on rocks so they won't rot on the wet ground. I've also had to cut off a lot of these leaves that have powdery mildew on them, unfortunately, but hey, the zucchinis are doing well, so I'm not too disappointed. We got a patch of lovage here. This is a herb. It's kind of like a celery mixed with parsley. It's good stuff, but it bolts later in the season. So right now it's probably not too good to eat. But like first thing in the season, it comes up and it's delicious. I put it in my salads. Down here we got a bunch of tomato plants of all different kinds going. So got some green tomatoes. I actually got some ripening up down here. It looks like. Got another guy ripening up over here. That guy's splitting a bit, and we got some more up here. I know I got a big one somewhere in here. I was looking for the big tomato, and here it is right here. It's doing pretty well. We got some other little ones right beside it that are starting to ripen up. Over here I got a spaghetti squash that I pulled out of the compost pile, and it basically just took over my garden. So across from our little zucchini and lovage and tomato garden here, in our yard we actually got a bunch of wild plants growing. Here's some wood sorrel, or I think it might just be some kind of sorrel. Here's my goji berry tea I got brewing. I found a few goji berries I had left in a jar, so figured might as well make some tea out of them. If you guys have ever had it, it's really like energizing and revitalizing. Here we got some oregano just growing in the lawn. We actually have patches of it everywhere. Another patch here, more over here, and here of course. We got a bunch of dandelions that are edible too. My cat actually loves eating dandelion leaves. So on the way to our last garden, which is actually our compost pile that just started growing a bunch of stuff from the seeds we threw in the compost, we got some corn that sprouted up here in our pile of composted earth and manure. Didn't even have to plant it. It's got some nice ears on it. And so over here is the compost pile. So here's kind of this year's compost pile. I was gonna have this watermelon for lunch, but then I cut it open and it was all like rotten and holy on the inside, and it didn't smell good at all. So fortunately I couldn't have it. I called up the farmer though, and he said he's gonna hook me up with another one on Saturday, so that's awesome. We got a watermelon plant actually growing in here, although I'm not sure if it's gonna fruit this year. Then in here we got our giant tomato patch that basically just grew from us throwing our tomatoes in the compost. So there's one tomato. We got some nice clusters over here. These are grape tomatoes. They're a bit more oblong in shape. And yeah, I don't know what kind of tomatoes these are because we just grew a bunch of seeds in here and they grew. Put a fence around them so the deer won't get to them. Right beside it we got some mullein. If you guys know mullein, it's like an expectorant. Native Americans used to smoke it if they had like lung ailments and stuff. You can make tea out of it too, and it'll help you clear mucus out of your lungs. In here, if you guys can see through the fence, we got another nice cluster of grape tomatoes going there. More tomatoes down here as well. We even got some red ones, some ripening up right in here. It's a pretty nice cluster. And so yeah, that's our compost tomato patch. It's doing pretty well. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Those were our gardens. I will see you guys next time.